أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمد
We are here at Barangay Bacolod, Chico, Marawi City, visiting one of the oldest Torogan built here in this place, which is one of the famous masterpieces of Filipino craftsmanship. And then come with us as we explore the beauty of the last standing sample of the finest traditional vernacular architecture of the Philippines according to NCCH.
In a modern or in the other country like England,
Yes, ma'am.
that is palace. That is palace. Yes, pag makita mo yan, meaning Sultan lives there. Something it belongs to a royal family. Yan, royal family. So why big? Sabi nila, bakit malaki? Para to accommodate all
The family?
members of the family, the immediate members of the family, as well as the near relatives. Pati mga first cousin, yung poor na walang shelter, di dyan na papatira. Ganyan ka hospitable ang Maranao. Yan. All the relatives will be accommodated, kaya malaki. And there is no partition. Walang partition yan.
Plain lang.
Yes, open yan siya. Open yan siya.
Walang room, ma'am.
Walang room. No partition nga, no division. Why? Ano there? The one idea of there is since it is open, so that the Sultan from time to time nakikita ang below the family, andyan sila. Yes. Meaning pag walang meaning wala outside, so something to be look in kung bakit saan siya, lalo na pag babae. Walang babae will stay at home.
Ay, ma'am, bakit naka-elevate talaga siya, ma'am?
Naka-elevate siya, why? Because of the activities. Pag may mga activities sila, yes, we will done it doon.
Below the house.
At saka when it case sa mga disaster like flood, so they are safe.
Torogan, for its literal meaning, is a place for sleeping. A huge stately towering house of the Muslim chief called the Sultan or Dato. First Torogans were built in response to the need for a place where the Sultan and the immediate members of his family could reside and at the same time gather leaders of the community to discuss problems and issues of pressing importance. According to Sultan Kusain Umpa, there are three principal functions of a Torogan, namely, first, Langon Arido Ago Kapipiyaan, where all problems and benefits that concern the community are discussed. Second, a place for taritib, a customary laws deliberation. And third, serves as the permanent office of the Sultan and other titled datos and ladies. It is also the spiritual house of a Maranao community where the children learn to read and write the Holy Quran, and where a dead dato or bai is made to lie in state before the final burial.
size.
The size of the Torogan should be
Kailangan
considered.
malaki yan.
Mm.
Kaya nga, as I told you before,
Yes,
we
ma'am.
compare this like in England sa palace.
Area to be placed. Location.
Kaya kahit saan.
Kahit saan pwede, ma'am.
Kahit saan pwede. Kahit saan pwede, siyempre. Pag malaki landscaping mo, basta lang malaki lang, malaki to.
Depende.
Depende.
May nara.
Mayra.
Maganda yung nara. Minsan na,
Plywood, wala.
wala pang plywood. So mga kuha na kayo nangka.
Nangka.
Mga piyasong nangka, aboy da ka. Ito, so lagi na ratan. So mga guni na so guni na ba sila kung sa mga toto ka, di ba? So mga ratan ito dito sa. So, so karabuwa. Yung karabo, di ba ba?
Karabaw?
Yun ang nagdala, yung parang guyuda. Di ba parang may box dito?
Bastahan.
Naroon.
The Torogan is a massively built structure with huge carved posts made out of a whole tree trunks, many of which were taken and carried from forests by man. Every tree trunk post that is erected is celebrated with a feast that includes carabao meat, mad fish, and chickens. Every post in a Torogan is pumped up with 5 to 6 well-chosen rocks, varying in size and shape to serve as foundation, and as the result is a floating structure whose posts would sway with each shock wave from an earthquake or with a strong wind. Panulong is the most arresting feature of Torogan. It is the 5-piece protruding ochre carved beams, showing Inaga or a serpent, and facing east to resemble the mythical dragon that receives the blessing of the sun. It is believed that the rays of the sun give off energy, light and power, and through the open mouth of the Niaga, it would enter the Torogan and consequently to the Sultan. Stairways usually two-tiered, with a landing in every tier. A carved baluster made of wood adds beauty to the stairs. Ground floor of a Torogan is usually kept open so that it can be used or display area for a palay and corn. It also serves as a living quarters for the urubarang or the servants, or where the lantakas or the brass cannons are kept. Some Torogans utilize half of the ground floor as living quarters for families who cannot be accommodated at the first floor. Family who is mananangawalay, living under the house, is looked down by the community. The soaring, flaring roof, like the ceremonial umbrella, is a proclamation of its exalted status. Some Torogans are fully and exquisitely carved to include not only its end beams or side end beams but also its windows, doors, wall divisions, roof beams, and roof support. The motifs or designs used vary from one carving to another. However, the predominant motif is usually the piyako or niaga, which is called ochre. The interior of a Torogan is practically a living museum. Inside this communal house may be seen the Maranao universe. Space is fully utilized at night for sleeping and at daytime for working, eating, meetings, and entertaining visitors. The Torogan does not have rooms that are divided by wooden panels. It has a thick mattresses or tilam on the top or at the head of which are wooden, carved, or inlaid baors where the family heirlooms are kept. Elevated and is made of hardwood that is carved all over, and it is called the Panggao. The Sultan shares his bed with his first wife, while his other wives occupy beds that are separated by wooden chests. Other families occupy the other parts of the Torogan. The physical arrangement of the beds in the form of thick mattresses indicate each family's status in relation to the Sultan. Usually, persons or families closest to the Sultan have their beds near him. The family of slaves occupies the place near the kitchen, while the family that protects the Sultan stays near the main door. On top of the walls hung the mandiyang, a hand-embroidered multicolored piece of cloth. Directly below it is the lalansay, which serves as drapery. This is also made of hand-woven material with different colors. Below the lalansay is another hand-embroidered, hand-woven decker called the sumandig. It is a narrow strip of cloth, usually with an applique design. Even the roof has its own set of posts, which are usually smaller, slimmer, and intricately carved. The rampatan, or the center roof beam, is called the tinai awalay, or the intestine of the house. It is intricately carved, with the front end carved into a prow and the end carved into the shape of twin fish fins. The collapse of the Torogan is symbolic of the decay and degradation of traditional Maranao society. Under the constitutional form of government, the Torogan have been reduced to sleeping quarters. Even trivial matters are discussed in places other than Torogan. The Torogan, even it still exists, would no longer receive the importance it enjoyed in the past. At most, it would be a place to relive memories of bygone days. Modern-day Maranao families would avoid living in a Torogan where there would be too much space to maintain and clean. This Torogan, the residence of the Sultan sa Dayawan, was first constructed in the early 18th century by Sultan Buwa Ayub, the founder of the royal house of Dayawan. In the early 19th century, it was rebuilt by Sultan Datu Cotabato with the help of Datu Bakarat, Bai Dalumbi, and Bai Coyub. In 1935, the Dansalan Declaration opposing the inclusion of Mindanao, Sulu, and Palawan in the proposed Philippine Republic was signed in the Torogan. In 1955, an earthquake partly destroyed this Torogan, causing it to be abandoned. In 1992, the Dayawan Torogan was once more repaired and restored through the initiative of Dr. Abdullah Madale and support of the National Commission on Culture and the Arts, or NCCA, led by the Executive Director Carmen D. Padilla, Commissioner Nagasura Madale, Head of the National Committee on Muslim Cultural Communities, and Professor Felipe de Leon Jr., Commissioner of the Subcommission on Cultural Communities, and Mindanao State University, headed by Dr. Emily M. Muruhumsur, President and the Heirs of Sultan sa Dayawan, led by Professor Kansan Kana. The National Museum, in coordination with the Mindanao State University and the National Historical Institute, has declared Dayawan Torogan a National Cultural Treasure and Regional Museum of Living Traditions.